How about now?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
The miracle of technology.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, sorry, my face like literally just fell asleep. She's like chilling there, like she's drunk right now. So.
Oh, it's okay. You get
Yeah.
your baby drunk. It's okay.
Say Hobbs. Yeah, sorry about the delay, man. I got a 7-month-old baby over here that's has changed many of our podcast times.
Yeah, I've got one that's 7 weeks old. So,
Woo, it's your first one, dude.
no, it's my first one, but it's my old lady's third.
And how you like it? What's it like for taking care of the baby? I guess rather I should say, because
it's he's a handful sometimes, but he's actually the chillest of the three, which is weird because the other two are 13 and 5. So
that's funny.
That's fucking wild. Anyway,
we could just start from there, man.
Yeah, we'll just start it. This is Bread and Circuses. We're here with Dustin Hobbs, and Antifa, Nebraska wants to take away his ability to feed that baby.
And Antifa, Nebraska's #1 most wanted right here.
Well, that's saying something.
Guys, Antifa is just an ideology. Remember, it's not a group. That's the gaslighting fucking talking point that everyone keeps throwing back at me. I'm like, what? I'm like, hold on. How are they just they have a logo, they have like meetings, they have a uniform. That's not just all these people that happen to do the same exact thing and meet, halfway across the country.
I've always told people too that you can both not like Antifa and the supposed right-wing death squad groups like the ones in Charlottesville, which apparently are all over the place right now,
Right.
Like the Antifa guys that took over an entire city. So.
Right. So like what started this, man? Why did they choose you to come for? Like, how did this happen?
Well, I'm running for Congress for District 3 here in Nebraska. And one of my old lady's friends asked, like, well, what did you do to piss them off? And I said, I exist, and I have an idea that runs counter to their neo-Bolshevik hive mind groupthink. So,
yeah,
what are you gonna do, right?
Were you shocked when you saw the Facebook post, or was it kind of just, eh?
The biggest shock is the fact that it took them this long. I work with Nathan and Ben over at Rose to Liberty, and we put out 2 or 3 podcasts every week, and does a really good job of pissing people off on the internet. And I say some spicy stuff that I probably shouldn't say, but I don't care.
Yeah.
I imagine that probably would have come a lot sooner if I had been doing a better job of campaigning, but with the new baby and the Rona locking everything down and scaring everybody like it's the plague, campaigning has been kind of a back burner thing.
Sure. It's like,
I get that. And
we talked about it earlier, but like you said that you've only had like 3 people actually reach out to your job who does not care.
Yeah. They I called my boss Friday evening and just to let him know what's up, and he said that they've to date so far they've received 5 emails about it, and 3 of them were telling them like, oh, how could you have a guy like this work for you, and we'll never buy your products, which is stupid because my company doesn't make products that you can go out and just buy. We're a machine shop. We're a job shop. We do jobs for contracting jobs, and the other 2 were people that were like, hey, this guy got doxxed. He's doing a good thing. Don't listen to retards on the internet.
Yeah, and that's these people have no idea. They think they have this that your everyone's boss is just this dumbass who's just gonna fire you. You know what I mean? Like,
it might happen in certain job fields, but I don't think one where everyone works is really gonna do that.
Well, it's like people don't realize, like, I'm in a position where I can hire and fire people at my job, right? If you call me telling me I need to fire somebody because of some shit they said on the internet, it better be like legitimately like I'm going to bomb the Pentagon at 3:00 tomorrow. Like, you better have some hardcore shit, or I'm gonna fucking be mad that you called me wasting time. People don't realize how hard it is to fire somebody. You know what I mean? And like how much of a pain in the ass, because now I got to replace them, hire a new employee that has no idea what they're doing. I got to train them. And then I'm going to be slammed in the meantime. Like, it's the most retarded thing.
when they're doing that, they're hoping that the person that they're doxing isn't a good worker. Because I'm sure if it was somebody that was like a shitty at their job and you were just looking for a reason to fire them, you could.
That's different.
A boss could maybe use that as an excuse, like, oh yeah, they were saying hateful stuff online. We can't have that represent our company, you know. But
yeah. Yeah, certain job fields, I imagine that it's probably a little more of a minefield to dance through, and in certain areas. I'm sure that if this was like Portland or New York City, my ass would have been gone day before yesterday. But I am in a blue collar job in central Nebraska. Spicy internet things from Antifa are not going to affect my job. You know, I'm gonna have to like break a $20,000 piece of CNC machinery or something like that. You know, provide actual damage to the company, not say a mean word.
Right. Yeah. And that's
probably not even any. I'm sure, because I've worked with a lot of guys before that are, you know, the kind of guys that work those kind of blue collar jobs. I'm sure you guys have probably said worse things to each other on job sites than anything that's online.
Day is a wonderful amount of un-PC culture in a job shop.
Well, the big thing they really targeted was the Boogaloo ties, right?
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken, like, which is bizarre
allegedly
to me that we haven't they haven't come after us, Nick, because I was telling him before the show started, we haven't been cheerleaders, but we've been sympathetic to the cause of it.
It's all we have to do is it's alleged. For one, I don't have a full-time job. I do like DoorDash deliveries and go to school full-time, so they don't really have much to come after me with. But
right, I am hidden. You can't dox me. I've paid people to try and dox me. You can't do it. So I'm not.
Like, what are they gonna do? They're gonna call my wife and tell my wife on me, dude.
Hey,
like, oh.
that happened to Justin Healy with his rape joke. People were messaging his girlfriend like, "Just wanted you to see what your boyfriend's been saying." Like, okay. Like,
I bet she was like, "Oh, that's hilarious."
Yeah, no, she was. She laughed, and that made them even more angry. And then they tried to call her employer. I'm like, you can't get. There's no company in the world that's going to fire someone for laughing at something. Like, she didn't even say it. Like,
that'd be a pretty toxic company to work for, dude. I wouldn't even want to work for a company where I'd even be worried about that, dude.
Could you imagine? Oh my! These are people that have no idea how business works, how the world works, nothing. Like, it's insane to me. But this isn't the first time you guys have had a brush with the media over the Boogaloo connection, though, over there at R2L.
Yeah, we had that Guardian article after we set up the interview between presidential candidate Joe Jorgensen and 5 of the boys from around the country. The Guardian decided that they wanted to do a little expose of, oh my God, the Libertarian Party candidate dares to talk to people with an opinion. Oh, the shock, horror. It's a nice little merit badge to put on your sash of internet shit posting, I think.
You know what's funny too is somebody like maybe not even necessarily Biden, but maybe like his vice presidential candidate like Kamala Harris or something could talk to like a group that's associated with Antifa on a podcast or something, and there wouldn't be any word about
No,
it.
Antifa's an ideology, not a group, remember?
Yeah.
It's not a group. They just show up from Portland and Minnesota in large vans. They just got that idea at the same time, guys.
With symbols on their shoulder. That's just a coincidence.
With uniforms.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's I find it really kind of bizarre that a group that touts themselves as being like this anti-establishment, ooh, we're the resistance, we're the people that are standing up and speaking truth to power, are swallowing everything that the mainstream media is saying, hook, line, and sinker about the Boogaloo. You know, it's like I'm here. I'll tell you what it's about, or at least as far as I can understand it. You know, it's pretty varied. But it's like, no, the Guardian and CNN told me that you guys are white supremacists. It's like, okay. Yeah,
so like,
cool.
why don't you tell people what it is? Because we do have kind of a mixed audience. We're not a political show more often than not. So I mean,
we're not a political side show.
Yeah, exactly.
We're kind of off on the side, just like saying everything about everything.
Yeah,
so.
we're in the bleachers.
Yeah. So, you know, like I said, you know, the of dipshits in there that think that the Boogaloo is all about accelerating this country into a second civil war, and then there is a subset of that an acceleration into a second civil war drawn on the lines of race as being a good thing, and everybody that I with kicked those assholes to the curb with a lot of quickness. For the people that I pal around with, they see the fact that this country is in a state of turmoil right now where everybody is at everybody's throat. It's not that we want a second civil war to happen. Quite the contrary. We want to avoid a civil war at all possible, take all possible lengths to avoid a civil war. But we see that one could be a possibility, and we are encouraging people to prepare, to build your tribe, and to be around like-minded people that you can count on, and if worse comes to worse, you can at least get yourself a head start on it. And that's basically all it is.
It seems like to me the Boog guys are more into like deterrence for a civil war than actually doing a civil war. Like
that's exactly what my guys are all about. A lot of the guys they're either veterans or veteran adjacent, like have a family member that was in the military and is deployed to anywhere as far back as Vietnam up into our current conflicts right now. So we all have a pretty close understanding of how bad a war can be, and we don't want that to come to this country, because we realize that if the United States burns, the whole world is going to burn with it. The other thing is that a lot of these guys, they're not anti-government wanting to burn the whole thing down. They're constitutionalists. They see the United States Constitution and as intended as probably being the most perfect governing document ever conceived by the mind of man up until this point. And they see that all problems in this country stem from the fact that we have drifted away from the limitations that the Constitution puts onto our government. So they say that this is where our government needs to be. This is the box that we need to be in. Don't get back to here, there's going to be a problem. And they call us extremists.
I always thought the greatest government document, from what everyone says, is the Communist Manifesto by Marx. That's what I always thought it was. That's what I was led to believe.
I will strike you.
People sleep on the Articles of Confederation. Okay, before the Constitution.
Yeah.
I mean, what could be better than the government has no right to collect taxes written out? Like
the federal government,
written out in plain fucking English. I think that was the document we should be getting back to. But no, I'm with you. And we definitely are. I mean, how do you think that I don't fucking care about the election. There's going to be chaos either way, like we were saying. Not much is really going to change politically. Yeah, your taxes might go up a percentage or two or whatever, but in the grand scheme, it's not going to be much different day to day. But how do you think the initial reaction with post-election violence is going to be? Are you concerned about that at all?
Where I am, no.
Yeah.
I think that here in Nebraska, probably where you guys are at is going to be the worst of it, and I don't think it's going to be that bad. Down in Lincoln and Omaha is probably going to be as bad
Mix
as
in El
it gets.
Paso.
I live in El Paso, so if Trump wins, there will probably be some protesting and rioting going on in the city, because people in El Paso absolutely despise Trump, and with good reason. So
yeah. I think because Omaha was actually really bad, but what people don't, and I always, whenever I'd hear about the cities rioting and stuff, they made it seem like everywhere was just being burned to the ground. But what I realized is it's in really concentrated areas,
right?
The rioting. So it's like, I live in the suburbs. If there's rioting brought to the suburbs, we have a fucking problem. Like,
is Omaha's mayor up for re-election this year, by the way?
2021.
Oh, that's
2021, and Bill Queen is running against her, the comedian.
Yeah, they need to vote her ass out in Omaha, man.
But I mean, yeah, man, it's like, have you done anything to prepare for the upcoming violence post-election, or no?
Basically got everything that I've always had. The low level prepping, as least as much as I can afford, has always kind of been on my mind. Have some fallback position. I have a shitload of guns and ammo. Right. So that's basically just what I do.
Yeah, I mean, I never thought the day would come where I spent $700 on body armor, but I pulled the trigger.
Oh, you finally did,
May.
man.
Back in
Nice.
May, I pulled the trigger. When the rioting was happening, I was like, "Fuck, this is not going to get better." Come election time, and it finally got here like a couple months ago. So,
Yeah, did you get it from Hoplite? I hope.
I did not go through Hoplite. I used Spartan, so still snobby rich guy armor, but not Hoplite.
You gotta go out and start doing some shooting while wearing it, man.
Yeah,
you're still wearing it,
and just like walking my dog and stuff like that, you know. And it's like, but I'll probably look like a crazy person if I do.
Just wear it underneath a really baggy hoodie, dude.
That's probably what I'll do. But so Lyman Bishop stood us up for an interview. That's why I didn't do Hoplite. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, he did? Oh, if I would have known that you guys were trying to reach out to him, I would have told him he needs to get with you guys. I have his personal phone number. I talk to him occasionally.
Yeah, so like do you remember that, Nick? I don't know if you
I remember vaguely about it. I remember we sent him messages and he just didn't really get back to us about it.
So he asked me, or I asked him about a show. He's like, yeah, he's like, can you send me a clip? So I sent him our interview with John McAfee, and he listened. He's like, I have a lot going on, but I listened to that whole thing, and that was actually a good use of my time. I'd love to do your show. And then the day of the show comes, and nothing. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, there's been a couple of times where we tried to get him on. Like we tried to get him in with the Joe Jorgensen one, and he's got so much going on in his life right now.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's like a minute-to-minute type thing where he'll be like, yeah, sure, I'll be on. It's like, oh, hey, I got to go down to the warehouse and ship 500 orders that just came in. It's like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. Have you heard the story about him on Reddit?
Uh-uh.
I haven't heard that story. I want to hear this.
There's the Reddit, the body armor, or tactical or whatever subreddit. And he was banned from selling on there because somebody was trolling his posts, and he made a promo code for 20% off called whatever that person's username was, is a cocksucker.
That's hilarious. Why would they ban him? That's funny, dude.
They said it was like creating a hostile environment.
It's a fucking Reddit page for body armor, dude. Like, is that kind of the whole point?
Take the body armor off. Put it on your emotions, you fucking pussy.
Exactly. That's you'd think that guys that are buying and trading body armor would be a little bit more hardcore than that. But
dude, I'm so annoyed because so we were taking a little bit of a break from the podcasting just because, and I don't know if Kevin, you've experienced any of these kind of stuff where you're at, but the virus has kind of blown up here in El Paso, and we actually had direct contact with it. It caused me to miss an appointment to get my Texas driver's license from a Nebraska one, so I have to push that back another 4 months to get my concealed carry for down here in El Paso, and it's just
it got the Rona.
I got an official test at the beginning of, or like the middle of last week, or I guess this week, but I still haven't got the results back. But yeah, how's the Rona been over there in central Nebraska with you, man?
At the beginning of it, we had a huge spike, and then it leveled off. We didn't do any lockdowns or anything. It was left up to the businesses, which is what I think needed to happen. I think that the whole flattening the curve thing was kind of a canard. I think that this whole thing, like, the virus is real, before anybody accuses me of calling it a hoax or anything like that. The virus is real. The virus is real, and it can be deadly to certain segments of the population, but it's not as bad as everybody thinks it is. And I think that the whole thing has been blown way out of proportion. It's been politicized. And I have a sneaking suspicion that regardless of who wins on November 3rd, everything's going to kind of taper off come about November the 5th or 6th.
The only thing here so they instituted another like light lockdown here. They just have a midnight curfew because people I've still been going and partying a lot here in the city. But the only thing the city is concerned with here is the hospitals are like at max capacity, and they've been having to fly people outside of the city because of it.
They were talking about that here, but there have been times, because they said the hospitals were at 90% in Omaha, but there have been times where the ICUs, without flu season or pandemic or anything, get up to 95 to 100% at capacity. Sometimes we just have like a violent weekend. It blows.
I can understand the concern with the hospitals because it's like, we're also getting into flu season, and it's like,
Yeah.
fuck, man. Like, and I personally know like a lot of people in the past couple of weeks that have got the virus, so it's kind of a real thing with that. But yeah, the whole like wanting to do a whole citywide shutdown and everything, I'm just like, don't close down the businesses, man. We've already seen tons of places that have closed, and it's like
the cure can't be worse than the virus, you know? Like that and I understand I'm basically reciting what Trump said, but he's right. You know, you got to give people credit when they're right. He's right. The cure can't be worse than the virus. If the cure is mass economic damage, then it's not worth it. It's, you know,
I've always found it annoying when people try to criticize Trump about the federal response too, because it's like, do you really think like Clinton's administration would have done any better? Like, look at all the Democratic-run cities that, like New York City and stuff, that just had like terrible responses to it. It's like they wouldn't have done any better. If anything, they would have done worse because they weren't wanting to cut off travel to China.
and,
Well,
and
not only that, but you take a look at what happened in New York, New Jersey, and Michigan. It's not only the fact that they did a terrible job of it. They were actually taking people out of the hospital that had tested positive and were putting them in nursing homes.
Yeah, California too. It's like those are all Democratic-run states. Like they wouldn't have done any better.
And then you've got people like de Blasio literally coming out and threatening to round up the Jews if they don't follow his order. I'm like, dude, could you imagine if Donald Trump tweeted, "My message to the Jewish community is you will be arrested if you're out on the streets." Oh my God, there would be a military coup in this country.
Yeah, the thing about the whole response that I find to be just absolutely hilarious is that the same people that are out there claiming that Donald Trump is just any second now he's going to be a dictator and going to take all the kind of fascistic control are the same people that were like, "Oh my God, we got spicy flu from China. Please, Donald Trump, become a dictator and lock the whole fucking country." Come the fuck.
And
they were the ones that were also at the beginning too, were saying, "Oh, it's racist to blame it all on China."
Well,
like,
they were the ones that called him racist for shutting the flights down from China. If Trump were to have, and I honestly believe this, if Trump were to have come out and been gung-ho about this coronavirus thing from day one, everyone's wearing a mask, all the businesses in the country are shut down for 2 weeks, all the ports and the airports and everything closed, borders are closed for 2 weeks, they would have called him a fascist. They would have called him Hitler and you name it. And they would have been calling for a revolution. There would have been riots in the streets. It's all political.
And been the exact opposite. You would see Trump people like tripling up on masks and wearing spacesuits and shit, and all the Democrats would be out there having orgies.
Yeah, no, exactly. It'd be fucking Woodstock in the streets like it was up in Seattle.
There's certain people out there like that they're the opposite tribe, cannot do any good. They can only do wrong, and everything they do is wrong. So I really try to not pay attention to those people because their opinions aren't worth anything.
The tribalists.
Yeah.
I mean, we've talked about on here about like how the whole concept of the presidency is broken, you know, like the 4 years thing. What was your idea, Nick? It was about like one guy for 10 years.
Yeah, there should be one guy for like 8 or 10 years or something like that, so they don't have to worry so much about the re-election when it comes up. So they don't, like, their entire first term doesn't have to be, the first 2 year or last 2 years of their presidency term doesn't have to worry about re-election, because it's like, it seems like every time that they are trying to, like, a new president gets in, it's like they're just so worried about the re-election the next year that nothing ever gets done. Which I guess I'll give it to Trump that he has done a lot of stuff. But, some of it's been good, some of it's been bad. But, yeah, I just think they should kind of readjust how our government works to kind of fit these to counter this tribalists, like, left-right versus
bullshit
stuff. Yeah. It sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing that I find to be odd about the presidential election cycles is and everybody, it's not like a secret or anything, it's an open secret, is when the president has an agenda that he wants to set and he doesn't push for it like right away, everybody's like, "Oh, he's just waiting for his second term." And it's like, why? Get what you want done in the first term, and if it works and if it's popular, you will get reelected to your second term. If it doesn't work and it's not popular, then you won't. you don't need to serve 2 terms. If what you have going can get done in the first and it helps the country as a whole, get it done in the first. And if you only serve 1 term, okay, what's the problem?
Right.
Yeah, you have less gray hair, right? You know what I mean?
That's the thing with Trump is it's like I think Tim Dillon was talking about it on his show this morning. He's like, dude, you did it. You won the presidency. Just go back to being an asshole on social media and just fuck with people. You got nothing left to prove. Like,
Dude, I don't know if Trump can go back to doing anything business oriented after all this, man.
He
I
will.
don't know what
He'll be a Hollywood star. They can't stop talking about him. They have to talk about him. You
think after he's done being the president, regardless if it's this election cycle or after the next one, the media will still be clowning on him all the time?
No,
without a doubt.
You think?
You think so?
Yeah. I think that not only will the media be clowning on him till the day he gets put in the ground, but I think that once he's not the president anymore, whether it's this year or 4 years from now, there's going to be a never-ending deluge of frivolous lawsuits to make that man's life a living hell.
Oh yeah, absolutely,
sure,
absolutely. And no one will have the amount of money to fight off. Even as a billionaire, like the lawsuit, the legalities, and torts and shit like that. Gun to your head, though. What do you think happens Tuesday? Because we're here Sunday before the election.
The polls all say Biden is a little bit ahead, but personally, I don't see. I listen to a lot of podcasts from around the country and people who are kind of dialed in on this, and there's an enthusiasm gap that I think Biden has no chance of winning without a massive amount of voter fraud.
What's kind of weird about it is if it's any indicator, and I don't know how strong of an indicator this is, but if you go and look at Donald Trump's Facebook page, he's got like 30 million like followers on his, where Biden only has like 6.
Are they all bot Indian followers too?
I don't know, man. But I was looking up that because I was looking at how many Joe Jorgensen has, and she's actually got like 3 million or something. It's like was pretty close to Biden.
Kanye has more than all of them.
Yeah, right.
yeah. But the enthusiasm gap, and I listened to a podcast that Dan Bongino did last week, and he talked to a guy from a polling group called Trafalgar, and they were one of the only major polling groups that actually got it right in 2016, because they asked the question, who are you voting for? And people would, they would lie, because the media has done such a thorough job of indoctrinating people into anybody that's a Trump supporter is a racist, and if you think about voting it, then you must be a racist too. So they would lie. They didn't want to have a stranger on the phone think less of them. But when that Trafalgar group would ask them, who do you think that your neighbor is voting for? Then it went to Trump. And that's how they called it. Because you're not gonna care if the stranger on the phone thinks less of your neighbor. So
right.
So
that's a good idea.
Yeah, they called it that way.
What'd they call about this one then?
Trump.
Really? By how much of a margin? Like a lot, or?
They're saying that the 2 biggest surprises that they're seeing is that blacks and Hispanics are coming out in larger numbers for Trump this year.
I'm not surprised. I mean, the Hispanics maybe, because I think if there's any ethnic group in the United States that has any like legitimate beef with Trump, it's Hispanics. But I don't think the black community should have anything against Trump just on a personal level like that. I mean,
no, the guy
going on party lines.
The guy bends over backwards to do his platinum plan and the criminal justice reform, and he's always talking about lowest black unemployment numbers since World War II and all this other stuff. So the guy's been doing everything he can to help out the black community in
within reason. Within reason, because the Black Lives Matter, have you seen their list of demands? They're a little ridiculous.
They have a lot of Marxist demands on
the destruction of the nuclear family. Are you fucking kidding me? Look at the majority of the people in jail, black, white, Hispanic, what doesn't matter. How many of them had or didn't have a father figure? It's an overwhelming majority.
It's like 70 or 80%.
Yeah, you want to stop mass incarceration of any race, you need to support the nuclear family, not want it abolished. That's insane to me.
Yeah, well, when your end goal is that the government becomes your god, is one of the first things that has to go.
Yeah,
your government's the provider, not the parents.
that's
So
exactly how it goes. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
welfare. Welfare and communism.
Yep.
Yeah, I love that quote where it's like, I don't care for anybody's opinion who doesn't have kids or doesn't wish to have kids about when it comes to politics, because they don't have any stake in the game when it comes to how the world should be run. So
Yeah,
Exactly. I've seen the parallel drawn between all of the leaders in the European countries and what a shitty job that they're doing over there. It's like none of them to a person has a kid.
yeah, that's insane to me. Like, you know, and that's the other thing. It was back to the mass incarceration. Is we've said this I don't know how many times. There's no two individuals more directly responsible for the mass incarceration of African Americans than Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, and that's who Antifa wants to riot for. Like, you know, like you've got the guy that passed the 96 or the 94 crime bill, you know, after the CIA had distributed crack to the inner city for 20 fucking years, and then said crack is a longer mandatory minimum than cocaine, even though it's the same thing. What? Like,
Yeah,
for real.
It's really kind of generating the perfect storm there.
yeah, you know,
I was watching a left-wing podcast about it too, and they were trying to justify that, or they were like, you know, dismissing that by going like, oh, I'm sure he didn't intend for it to be used in that purpose. And I'm like, okay, so if you're going to use that argument for Biden, then why do you use that argument for Trump then for everything? You know what I mean? Like,
right.
all of his policies about, oh, you didn't intend it to,
Well,
you know, they didn't intend to have a bunch of Latinos be put in concentration camps on the border. You didn't intend for it.
yeah. Well, and that's my thing is I keep seeing this post going around, and it's been going around for 4 fucking years now. It's if you voted for Trump, which I did not vote for Trump. I will make that clear. I didn't vote for Trump in 2016, and I won't do it this year. But they've been saying if you voted for Trump, that doesn't mean you're a racist, but it means racism wasn't a deal breaker for you. I'm like, okay, same for Biden though. The guy
Two
that
snaps
called,
and a head twirl.
yeah. The guy that called integrated schools the jungle or something, like a racial jungle. That's what it was.
How is it any different for Clinton too? She literally had the biggest say in toppling over like 3 like African and Middle Eastern governments.
Right.
Like, how is that not racist?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They're all the fact that we're debating who's less of a racist is the fucking problem with the
literally.
2-party system. You know, the fact that, oh, well, Joe Biden's only raped single-digit women. Trump was over 20. How is that an endearing personality trait? That shouldn't be. That's not something you brag about. It used to be you raped 1 person and you were done. Now it's, it was only 8. He only raped 8 people. Like,
Allegedly.
Bill Cosby, on the other hand, it's like the same thing. But that they would have had no problem. That they had no problem tanking Brett Kavanaugh for. Now it's Joe Biden. Well, those women are all liars. You know.
Yeah.
It's political. It's all political. So
yeah, exactly. That's the most disgusting thing about our current politics right now. It's like Nick said. You know, there's it's like the other group. They can never do anything right. Everything they do is wrong, and everything they like is bad, and everything they hate is good. And that's why we're all about, you know, destroying the nuclear family and all the other crazy shit, because the other side likes them.
Because I listen to a lot of left-wing podcasts and stuff. Like, I don't pay attention at all to mainstream media at all, because it's all bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the general attitude in this election period is, I think more people are at least aware of like the tribalism and everything. You know what I mean? Like, I think more regular people are just aware that the system is kind of fucked up. So at least, you know, we've got that going for us, because it seemed like in 2016 it was so blatantly like people like were not aware of like what was going on during that election cycle. Like,
yeah, I mean, and we talked about how 2016 was crazy. Like, you were overseas.
I was overseas.
Could you imagine being overseas right now?
Yeah, for real. I've got some friends that are over there right now. It's like, it's weird, man, because when you're like over in another country doing stuff for the election, like you don't see what it's like in the United States, so you think it's exactly like the media says it is. So I thought America was on fire when I was over there.
Yeah,
I
parts
guess, yeah.
of it are.
Yeah.
Parts of it are. fuck, I totally spaced what I was gonna say. Don't do drugs, kids. God damn it. I am not intoxicated right now, but god damn it, I was last night. We were super spreading COVID.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
COVID's already run through our house. We're good. We're good to go here. You guys had COVID yet, Dustin?
No, I haven't been even like really taking precautions or anything. Like I said, we had a huge spike. Like Grand Island was one of the hottest hot spots in the country at the
I remember
beginning of
that.
this thing, and then it just off a cliff.
Mhm.
And I think that's how everything just had to. This whole thing probably would be over by now if everybody just got it over with. It's like back in the day when a kid in the neighborhood would have chicken pox and like all of the parents would bring their kids over and they'd have like a chicken pox party. That way the whole neighborhood would get it out of the system right
Yeah.
away. Same thing.
Yeah.
Just let it run its course.
Right.
I'm the weirdest thing about it is the lack of smell. Like not being able to smell right now is like the fucking weirdest thing, man. Like
You
I can't
still
even
don't have it?
I still can't even smell like Maite's dirty diapers. Like Anna'll be over there like, whoa, I think the baby blew this one up, and I'm like, I can't tell at all. Like,
Consider yourself lucky.
I know, right?
Well, yes and no, because like the sense of smell is an evolutionary thing we need to survive. Like
Yeah,
smoke or gas
I
leaks.
can't smell
and stuff
good
like
smells either, so it's like
And
it's
that
bad.
too. That's it's a double-edged sword.
I hope this isn't a permanent thing, man, because
The
it's been a
smell?
couple weeks already. Yeah,
You'll get it back. You'll
I
get
hope
it back.
so, man. I fucking hope so.
My friend's girlfriend, Gabe Freyer, my friend, he's a comedian. His girlfriend had it, and she didn't get her sense of smell back. It took her like 2 months, but you'll get it back.
Okay, that's good.
So yeah, don't worry about it too. People lose sense of smell from like sinus infections too, and bronchitis and stuff like that can also take your sense of smell. So it's not something new.
This is the first time I've ever lost my smell from being sick
Yeah,
before. And
it's
I've had
not
a ton
common,
of,
but it does happen.
yeah.
And be the life of the party by eating a lot of like weird tasting shit and then acting like it doesn't phase you at all.
That's what you got to do, man.
I can do that already with a lot of Mexican food, man. Like, dude, when people are like cooking torpitas at home, man, the whole house smells like butt.
That's what I want. Is I just want to lose my taste, man, because like that way, like I have no incentive to go eat Raising Cane's if I don't have any taste.
Yeah, for real.
Like, you might as well just give me fucking plain bread and lettuce. Like it doesn't matter.
Croutons.
Yeah, I'll live off croutons for 2 weeks, no taste. So we had a little bit of a Halloween party. It wasn't anything massive. Like I know the media is making it seem like like there's just hundreds of people gathering and coughing down each other's throats. If we were in LA, they would have shut our power off. You guys remember that?
My mom's down here in El Paso right now from up in Nebraska. So yeah, if we were in LA, the police probably would have arrested her right now for traveling between state borders. But
Did you guys hear about that though? They were like they shut the power off on the Instagram influencers for throwing a party.
Yep.
That's fucking it's
pretty draconian.
It is, and it's like I understand it's hard to feel bad for the TikTok kids and stuff like that, but like today it's the same thing with Alex Jones. Today it's the TikTok kids. Tomorrow it's someone who doesn't think the right way. If you're paying your bill, they have no right to shut your power off.
Tomorrow it's the construction company's offices that are like,
right,
not going with what's going on and everything.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's like I don't like the idea that the government can just weaponize my utilities against me whenever they deem it fit.
Yeah.
Like, if you got a problem with what I'm doing, if I'm doing something illegal, you can arrest me. But I'm not. But if I'm paying my power bill, you have no right to shut it off. I don't care if there's 1,000 people in my house.
I wonder what that city is going to be like in 20 years, man. Because people are
Detroit.
like literally leaving that city like fucking the plague, dude.
Detroit.
Like,
that's what it'll be like. I'll save you the speculation.
Yeah, for real.
I mean,
I told Nathan a few months ago that I think that cities like San Francisco and Los Angeles and whatnot, it's like everybody that can leave is going to leave, and everybody that's not going to be able to leave or just wants to try and ride it out, it'll be a ghost town, and you're going to have like dead people and in the streets, and all you got to do is get a bulldozer out and push all of the corpses and human shit and needles into the bay, and bam, free beachfront property.
Right.
Well, it is like Detroit, and like cities like Detroit, so like Cleveland, like all those old like cities that got their big huge boom off of like the auto industries and stuff, like, you know, almost 100 years ago. Like they have like parts of the city that are just completely abandoned. Like they, you know.
Well, it's like 72%. I'm sure it's gotten better now, but there was at one point in time, it was 72% of 911 calls in Detroit went unanswered. Nobody showed up.
Yep.
And
we had that friend that was from Detroit.
Sean, he's been on the show a couple times.
Yeah, Sean would say that Detroit is like everything bad they say about Detroit's true. Like,
yeah, and it's I remember my brother when he was in high school, he went up there for like a DECA thing, and they took him up to Detroit, and I'm like, why are they taking you to Detroit? Like, I would go see 8 Mile, but you know, like,
Detroit is a whole city block there for like $500.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna buy a whole city block in Detroit and just run like an Airbnb service for white people who want a taste of the hood.
Run a brothel.
The Instagram. We'll bring the Instagram influence out, and you know, I'll have paid actors on my staff and stuff. So we'll get on their money's worth. You know, they'll at least witness one shooting outside. You know,
it'll be like a safari.
Yeah,
safari for people.
Yeah, for rich Instagram influencers, you know, that want to experience Detroit for a weekend. We'll do that. I think I can make some money that way. People do it with haunted houses, like the Villisca Axe House. Like I have a cousin that goes to not Villisca, it's another one like Southern Iowa. She goes there like every other weekend, and they're like, "Oh, we heard thumps this time." I'm like, "Yeah, they're fucking with you. They're giving you your money's worth. If nobody ever heard anything there, nobody would go back. But of course, like if I owned the place, I'd have someone go walk around upstairs and howl and shit like that. Of course I would. Like,
yep.
Just pay somebody to act like they're sleeping in the gutter in front of their house, so they're like passed out on heroin there.
Or just pay actual.
Yeah, you could just. That's how they could solve the LA homeless problem, man. They could just take all those homeless people and then just turn them into haunted house attractions. Like they got to be some useful somehow. You know,
this is almost as hot of a take as you had when you said we should turn the elderly into fossil fuel.
We should, man. That'd solve a lot of problems.
Once you hit 85, and you're right, man, it's a bipartisan issue. You know, the Republicans are saving money. The Democrats, where there's no more offshore drilling. So it's like, how do you come out against?
Protects the environment, dude.
How do you? It passes like 97-3 in the Senate.
Ben Gay and Icy Hot companies would probably like lobby the government to stop that because that would like lower their sales and stock price by a lot. So.
Depends. Depends on fucking oatmeal. Anyway, we've done like 45 minutes. Dustin, do you got anything you want to promote before we?
Yes. If anybody out there listening lives in District 3 here in Nebraska, check my name on the ballot on Tuesday. And if you want to hear more fun insights like I talked about here, you can go over to Roads to Liberty podcast on Facebook, or you can go to think-liberty.com or look that up on any podcasting app. I think we're on pretty much all of them.
Yep. Dope. Nathan's been on our show before too, so
yeah.
Yep.
It's the same group. Well, the only thing we need to get on there is Token on here now, and
that's Nathan. Token.
Yeah.
Oh, just get him back. Yeah.
Yeah. We need to get him back on here.
Then they'll call us an alt-right podcast.
Yeah, right. Hey, you know, any amount of how's the saying go? Like any publicity is good to publicity.
We don't live in Grand Island like Dustin, though. I might actually get people show up at my house.
I did want to ask you before you left, Dustin. Did you guys see like a spike in viewership after that Guardian article ran? Did you guys see like a lot of people come and tune in, or how did that work?
We actually we saw a big spike in page likes after not when the Guardian article. We still got it up. I think is our number one pinned thing on our Facebook page, and it's reached like almost 250,000 people and has
With
1,000
Jorgensen?
shares. Yeah.
Nice.
And so we saw a huge spike in likes after that, and then when we hit that 15,000 threshold, we'll hit 15,000, and then the next day we'll lose 200, and then we'll hit 15,000, and then we'll lose 200, and it's just Facebook unsubscribing or flat out deleting accounts. It's suppression.
Yeah, probably
Yeah.
people getting banned off the platform and stuff too.
Oh, there's a massive Facebook purge going on right
Ridiculous.
now.
Ridiculous.
It like Josh Smith is gone, totally taken off Facebook.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway,
Yep.
What's up?
I was just saying it's weird. Like, one of the excuses that I heard was that the Facebook algorithm was targeting people who were advocating for third-party votes because the Russian bots are out there advocating for third party, and it's like, if you believe that third party advocacy is going to help Trump more than it helps Biden, and it's not just like rolling the dice one way or the other, then you've got a serious problem on your hands.
It's not even really what they do. The Russian bots just do like attack stuff on both candidates. All they try to do is destabilize. They're not trying to put one person or the other into the office. So
Right, and it's always the Russians. It's always. But what's funny is these people
never
that
China.
right. Well, these people that make these claims about election tampering with the Russians are also the first ones to say that our elections should be held online. I'm like, dude, your bank uses the most up-to-date encryption software, and they can't keep your fucking debit card from getting hacked.
I liked what Kanye said about it, man. Like, he was like, yeah, the debates and stuff, they shouldn't be allowed to be seen by people outside the United States. Like,
yeah,
that's private stuff. Fucking Europe, fuck off. Like,
yeah, we don't watch Europe's debates. It's a good point.
Yeah,
we also don't care.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like nobody gives a shit what Europeans have to say, and you shouldn't either.
Yeah, they're always like, "Oh, I feel bad for Americans." I'm like, I literally don't think about you. I don't care. Like, the only time I think about you is when I see, man stabs 27 people in France, and I'm like, wow, he would have got put down like a stray dog in America. Like, that's what I think. Like, try that anywhere in America. I guarantee you might get 2 or 3, but you will not stab 27 people before you're shot. Like,
yes,
and I think in America you'd probably just get beat up because there's a lot of really big people in the United States, and like some guy's waving around a knife, he's just gonna clock it in the back of the head with a big rock or something.
Yeah,
exactly.
I was gonna say, not every bar has an antique narwhal tusk hanging on the wall either.
Exactly. Well, that's I forgot about it before we go. I was at my friend's Halloween party, and he lives downtown, like at the High Line, like the big downtown apartment complex in Omaha. And he said the night after the Gardner thing happened, the night that it happened, so like when everything was on fire, he was moving into his new apartment, and he's got a buddy there that's like an ex-combat veteran who did a couple tours in Afghanistan and stuff, and there were people flipping cars upside down and like setting them on fire on that street. So this guy ran out to his car and grabbed a hatchet and stood on on the hood of his car.
The Mad Max shit.
And one of the rioters called the police on him. They're like, there's a man yelling at us with a hatchet. He won't let us near his car. And they're like, yeah, get the fuck away from his car. You have no right to set his car on fire. Like, you're calling the police because the guy won't let you burn his car.
Imagine how that dispatch call went.
If that's not white privilege, then what is? Like,
yes, people are out there like defund the police, defund the police. Hello, police. There's a man. He's being a meanie. He won't let us torch his car.
Right. Like, yeah. Exactly. And, it is what it is. So that's the motto for 2020, guys. It is what it is. So,
hello, police. This man won't let me riot.
Yeah, this man won't let me destroy his things.
Yeah.
In a residential area. Anyway, thanks for coming on, Hobbs. Much appreciated.
Thanks, Dustin, man.
Good luck on Tuesday.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'm going to the finish line, guys. I'm making it. Yeah, right.
Show up, Mark Elworth.
Stay safe out there too, man, for real. Because like, next week might be fucking crazy. So.
Not in Grand Island. We're the only ones
not
that
in
have to
Grand
worry.
Island. That's probably true, but yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. You
All
want
right,
to stay
guys.
safe too.
Yeah, we're gonna try. All right. Peace out, y'all.
Yeah. See you guys.